Welcome back to the studio. George and Andreas in the booth, and we've just seen the Royal Showdown with the previous winners battling for glory and other things as well. The trip to Florence, among other things, in the prize list. But now we have some more poker coming up as well before we end it for tonight.
Yeah, so we're going to be treated to a little bit of extra poker tonight. The 555 with a record-breaking field of over 710 entries is playing its way down to a final 2. And I believe we're going to be coming in thick and fast for the heads-up action to catch the end of proceedings, playing for an eye-watering top prize of over 67,000 euros.
Yeah, that's a big one. So let's see who we have in the heads up going for this.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the final table of the 555 euro no limit hold'em championship. We're down to final 2 players. Heads up, 710 entries in this event. And we are now down to our final 2 players. They are from Sweden with 17,025,000 in chips. Let's welcome Michel Karim. And against him from Denmark with 4,275,000 in chip. Benjamin Canatan. So Sweden and Denmark here. We got 4 minutes on the clock, 75,000, 150,000 lines. Button is now on Benjamin. We're gonna start the shuffle.
So Teresa doing the introductions, our main tournament director, and this is heads up now in the 555 tournament championship. 710 players down to these 2 now to go for the win. Denmark versus Sweden. Might be another Swedish win today already.
It could well be. I mean, look at this huge chip lead here for Michael Karim. 113 big blinds facing
Absolutely.
Benjamin Canatan of Norway. Or Denmark, sorry.
Yeah,
I should say, yeah, sorry. Getting a bit late into the night, but yeah, 28 big blinds.
Nordic countries, that's Nordic countries.
They're all the same to us Brits.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. Just bunch them together. And Benjamin will be first to act from the small blind. We're playing 75 150k blinds with a 150 big blind ante as well.
We certainly are. So again, with the ante format, going to be seeing quite loose play, lots of hands having to complete. Probably going to be seeing lots of limps, but these guys coming up to the feature table certainly adds a little bit of an interesting dynamic into their previous play.
Absolutely, they've been playing on the outer table, and of course these guys might have been playing a lot together during these 2 days of this event has been going on.
Play continued at 12, right? So they're going to be now a good 8.5 hours or so into play. Now they've got the bright lights, the pre-match sort of.
Exactly. Yeah, they have at least played the whole final table together, of course.
Yeah.
Final table on 9 on the outer table has been going on for a while as well, and now we're down to these final 2 to see who can walk away with the 66,000 plus euros up top, and 40,000 euros something to second place, of course. So nice payday for these 2 gentlemen.
Yeah, look at that prize pool, 330,000 euros, 150. So a lot of money in play here. For a 555, certainly, if not life-changing, certainly career-changing.
Yeah.
In the form of a big score for 2 guys that are, I have to be honest, I'm unfamiliar with at this point.
Yeah, same for me. Or I know a little bit about Michel. He's a regular in the Swedish club scene, I've been told, and plays a lot. Not professionally, but
On
Yeah.
the apps or the live
Regularly.
games, you mean?
No, in the live games.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
So some experience there at a slightly different level.
yeah, absolutely.
Are these licensed clubs or underground?
Both, I would
Both.
say.
Okay. Yeah,
We
yeah,
have
yeah.
both. No, but mostly licensed ones, and also the state-owned casino. I think he plays a lot there as well
Sure.
in Stockholm. So, yeah, I think he's been around for many years and played a lot of poker. So, quite experienced, but of course, I would think that this would be his biggest payday.
In form of tournament scores. If,
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not going to be much more than sort of 5K up top in these local events, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So a big chance to break through onto the more European stage.
Yeah.
For Karim with the Queen 3 suited. And a bit of pep in his step as well, instantly targeting this limp of his opponent, Kanatan, with the Jack 8. Facing a 3x isolation and going to be coming along for a call in position, which is interesting. Slightly different strategy as we saw from Juha Helpi, who was limp folding these types of holdings, but a stickier player here in the form of Kanatan. So Karim, overcard, backdoor flush draw, does seem a natural one to continue. And the Jack 8 here is an interesting candidate you could definitely consider calling. Does go for the float. It's going to make his opponent's life very tricky on this specific type of board. 9-9 deuce. Very difficult to fire a second barrel as you have to be concerned about the emergence of potential hands like trips in your opponent's range, where other continues are somewhat less intuitive. But look at this from Michel Karim, just going for the second barrel. Fearless stuff. With an absolute mountain of green chips, which I believe are 100,000 each. Goes for third pot on the turn. Wow, what is going on here, wise guy? We found ourselves an absolute duel between these two players.
Yeah.
Benjamin Kanatan firing in a shove on the turn with no equity versus a calling range.
Michel looks surprised. Well, what happened there?
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
That is quite an unbelievable.
And we were just talking about Michel and his accomplishments by the poker table, and of course we could always put up the old mob,
Yes.
Hendon mob as well. And his biggest score so far, a 14th place in a Eureka event.
Big field event, that
EPT.
one. The 1K, yeah?
Yeah, so 14th place was good for 24,000 euros.
Yep.
And then second biggest score was a few years ago in the home event Nordic Masters in Stockholm. And about 20,000 euros for third place in that one, a 1,100 euro event as well. So yeah, that's the biggest score so far. So only by claiming second place in this one, he'll have his top score on the Hendon mob. And he has about 30 cashes on Hendon mob, but no wins.
How about this Kanatan guy? He's
Yeah, let's see what we
very-
can find about him.
I'm going to guess slightly less of a Hendon mob presence.
Total cashes for Karim in the live earnings was 130,000. And Kanatan's is sat on $43,000 lifetime earnings on the Hendon mob. And let's see. He has a couple of first places though in smaller tournaments in Denmark. And he's been playing a few cashing in side events on the Aria in Las Vegas as well, winning one of the events.
Is it a Danish krone? Is that the currency?
Yeah, that's
And
correct.
how much is that worth?
About
1 per 6 euros, something like that. Is it?
10. So
10.
this is like 2,000 euros
Okay.
second place, and yeah. So it seems like the biggest score for him was maybe the 7th place in a MPT main event in Denmark a year ago, about 10,000 euros. And mostly Danish flags, few American, few from Bratislava.
Ah, yeah. One of
one,
my old
and one
stomping
from
grounds.
the old APT Cambodia stop in
I've also been there as well. It's a good stop.
Sihanoukville.
In Sihanoukville, yeah. That's a long time ago. They don't run events there
No,
anymore.
it's 10
Yeah.
years ago, 11 years ago, yeah. So no caches in Estonia yet, so nice time to
Good start with
grab the first one.
a new flag,
setting the
but
bar
also
high.
a huge score.
Last time I was here, I scored for at least 40k.
Be telling all of his friends in the home game.
Yeah. So you can see the trophy is in place as well on the between these two. A nice little glass thing waiting for the winner. And still the Swede, Michel Karim, in picture now in the commanding ship lead, but losing a little bit over to his opponent in the last hands. And now pocket eights in position. 16 million to start the hand, 200k big blind now. And a quick fold from Benjamin, jack 6 off.
Yeah, so we're seeing Michelle using a 2.5x sizing, which certainly makes a lot of sense with this big blind ante. You kind of want to incentivize your opponent not to just continue with basically everything. Picking up 2 big blinds is a pretty nice win. Even 50 effective, you know, you've got to do that 25 times in a row and you win the tournament by default, so.
Yeah. Seems like a lively crowd on the rail.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of loud voices
maybe
there.
Mr. Carlson is still celebrating his win.
Yeah, he's going to be having to get taken home in a wheelbarrow later on, I think.
A whiskey barrel.
Yeah. He'll be trying to suck the last drops out of it as well on the way. But a valiant winner, and I think the timing was good as well, because maybe a couple more beers and he might not have even been able to, you know, see the chips. So.
Yeah. Yeah, he was emotional in the winner interview I did after the win, and yeah, I think you could see that he had some apple juice as well to go with the win.
It was a mixture of two things: winning the trophy, but also winning versus Juha Helpi, who he said was like many times in the heads up, "Oh, you're a legend, and you know I really respect your game," all this kind of stuff. So it was heartwarming, that's for sure, and it was coming from a good place as well.
Yeah. Yeah, all humble and nice guy. Johan Karlsson, who took down the Royal Showdown between all the previous winners, were invited to play that one. And now, if you just missed what happened, why are these two here? We just watched other guys play, and this is the heads up of the 555 tournament that just moved over to the TV table, so we can show you at least the heads up from this one.
Absolutely, and it's been a fun start so far as well. There's been some pretty sticky stuff. We saw a float from Kanatan there, and then just shoving the Jack 8 on 9-9 deuce 6. Yep, you heard that right. And yeah, it's certainly two players that don't seem particularly fearful of the heads-up format. You do see a couple of players tend to kind of wither away a little bit in this particular format of the game. You don't obviously get as much practice playing heads-up if you're a tournament player. It's extremely rare, and you're often in the live realm where you only play sort of 20 to 30 tournaments a year. You could go years without getting a heads-up, so
of course, yeah.
Very interesting to see how these players adjust to the format. And
are you off talking about your own poker career now?
I haven't played heads up in about a decade. I'm washed. But
maybe at home with the dog.
Yeah, exactly. And I still lose that one. So
he always finds that runner.
Yeah, I get the rub down as well afterwards. So woof woof. Didn't see that one coming, did you? Bow wow.
Well then, Benjamin Kanatan of Denmark, 6 million to his name. Coming with the limp by the looks of it. King 10, nice hand for Karim in the big blind. Expecting him to maybe pump it up a little bit.
Yeah, I think at this depth, King Jack suited. It's not ideal versus a shove. How often are we going to see a limp jam for 30? I think we just want to drive value from worse Queen and Jack X holdings, and even just building a pot with this hand is a nice favorable outcome for us, as we do see a limp call from the King 10 there. And certainly the favorite to win the hand would be Karim at this stage with the betting lead.
Yep, representing that ace.
Yeah, I think Kanatan will come along for one. No, okay, so peeling with the Jack 8 with no equity. This time backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw, and King high, a bit of showdown, but...
Yeah. You got to mix it up, right?
Yeah, exactly. And mixing it up he is. Five suited here, and by the table demeanor, it feels like a 3-bet is coming from Kanatan. Looks like he is counting out a raise. It's not going to work in this occasion. Karim with two options, call or all in. Playing 25 big blinds effective. I feel he's going to favor the jam, personally, with the ace-10. Yeah, it does go for the shove. I think it's quite nice to peel hands like ace-7, ace-6 suited, but ace-10 just strong enough to ship it in, and if you take it down, a decent result. You can also get called by worse as well, which is going to be tricky with those lower ace-X suited. So nice move and a nice pickup there for Karim, who's back on top with the momentum. So a lively start from Kanatan. Certainly coming into this heads up with a bit of gusto. Was clear second and has muscled his way into winning a few decent sized pots, but a slight misstep there. Wasn't to know that his opponent had a massive holding. Ace-10 suited heads up. So Kanatan with the King 5 this time. Continuing the theme of these two players raising to just over the min-raise sizing, looking for that little extra snippet of fold equity with the big blind ante format, a little bit more incentivized to go for a slightly larger raise sizing. And Karim here with the King 10, now south of 20 big blinds effective. Is going to go for the shove.
You are hardcore. Med händer av Sverige.
Jag har bra händer, vad ska jag göra?
Ja, det får du få.
Det är inte så svårt att spela när man får bra händer.
Nej.
Karim now with the 9-4. Are we going to see a rare fold from these two guys? It does muck it. Certainly justifiable with that type of holding. Offsuit 4-gapper. Kanatan limping as a trap with the ace-10 suited. Are we going to see yet more aggression from Karim? We're not on this occasion. Just checking back to jack-6, looking to take a flop here. Whittled his opponent down to south of 17 bigs. And does flop a pair and a backdoor flush draw, so decent start for Karim. As we see Kanatan go for the sort of equity denial slash value bet with his ace-10, lots of good turns, and of course ace-high likely to be the best hand at this point, but yet more good news for Karim. Improving to a jack-high flush draw on the turn. Should slow down Kanatan here. Does enough with his flop bet to achieve getting some value from some straight draws, some flush draws, potentially some backdoor type of holdings. Worse ace-highs from time to time. And we do see it go check-check on the river, and Karim there setting the trap. Kind of an interesting one. I don't think your opponent is going to reopen the action too much on the 6. Hoping to get him to value bet a hand like an 8. Could potentially take that line, go for the bet check bet. Likely to see a king X bet the turn. But certainly a tricky line, and doesn't get what he was hoping for. But we'll take down another medium-sized pot, and he'll be fairly happy with that. Just edging ever closer towards the trophy. As you can see in seat 5 between the two players there. Battling it out from opposite ends of the table. As Karim now with the 8-6. 90 big blinds. Average stack of just over 10 million, so certainly in an extremely favorable scenario. Kanatan goes for the shove here with the queen jack suited. That will turf out Karim's loose-ish open there with the 8-6. Could have elected to go for the limp, but sometimes nice to use some of these lower hands as a raise fold. Lean on your opponent somewhat. His options are much more limited than yours with the shorter of the two stacks. As you can see in the top right of the screen, the winner here taking down 66,000 euros and change. Second place 41,650. So big pay jump of around about 25k between these two players. Kanatan with the limp with the queen jack. Jack 6 again for Karim in the big blind. Checked it back last time. Is he going to fire an ISO? Doesn't elect to on this occasion as we take a flop. Kanatan in the dominating situation here, and comes off best on that flop as well. Queen jack with the backdoor diamond. A little bit of juice for both players. Kanatan improving to a flush draw. Karim now with his gut shot. Going to bet half pot, and certainly won't be shaking off the Dane as of yet. Might have to consider, but look at this. An imposition raise, having checked back the flop on king 3 deuce. Small raise as well, but that should shake out some of the dead wood in Karim's range as he does relinquish his gut shot. And Kanatan takes down another one, edging back into the fight somewhat. So we've got 21.3 million in play. Of course, Karim with the lion's share of that, as was the case when we did come into the heads up around about 20 minutes or so ago. Another open from Karim, this time with the king 6. Kanatan with the 9s, making a bit of a meal of it. Looking at the clock, looking at his stack.
4 minutes.
Wanting to give off the impression that his hand was not a crystal clear shove, but considering his options. I'd have liked a small 3-bet here with the 9s, giving the opportunity for Karim to rip in a 1/1 under or even defend.
I can't answer that question.
A hand that we've got in pretty rough shape. The only downside is that he may continue with some of the broadways, but in heads up the ranges are so wide. I think you want to give the opportunity for your opponent to either continue or shove a weaker holding here with a hand as strong as 9s. The other benefit to shove, of course, is that there's already 4 big blinds out there in front of you, so shoving does increase your stack by 20% if you don't get the call, and that's exactly what's happened in this instance. Just takes it down. Kanatan completing with the 7-3. Karim here with the King 6. It's going to go for the raise. And is going to get a continue from the 7-3 off. So already the pot juicing up here to 1.4 million. We've got 4.2 effective stack behind, 3 stack to pot ratio. And it is another one of these tricky paired boards, which both players don't interact with at this stage, although Kanatan facing the check with the 7 of spades. Quite a nice one to stab in position here. If we face a check raise, our hand has very limited equity versus that kind of range, so it's quite a nice one to go for the bet fold. We might be able to muscle out some of these types of holdings, the king highs, the queen highs, maybe even an ace deuce, but Karim is not going anywhere. Just check calling the king high. Got a backdoor straight draw and an overcard. 7 on the turn is a spicy card. Open ender for Karim. And of course, 2 pair now for Kanatan. Does go for the check back. And a 4 on the river, offering no help to Karim. So are we going to see the raise pre, the check call on the flop, check, check, turn? Does he elect to use his king as a bluff? Feeling that he's not going to have too much showdown value. Gets absolutely snapped off. And it's bad news for the Swede.
Yep, so Kanatan up to 7 million now then. Just 2-1, 14 versus 7. And new dealer coming in. And if you just joined us, this is the heads up in the 555 championship. Sweden versus Denmark, 66,000 euros up top. And previously on the stream we had the Royal Showdown. All the previous winners were invited. 7 of them showed up and played the sit and go on the steel table. And Johan Karlsson of Sweden was crowned the champion of champions, beating Finland's Juha Helppi in the heads up. But now we're back with the 555 tournament on day 2. 710 players started this one. It's down to these two now, as Michel Karim of Sweden is racing with the 9-8 off, and Benjamin Kanatan, Denmark, defending with the 9-5. And both of them will find the 9, and of course the better kicker is with Michel. And 7, good card for him as well, still keeping the 8 alive. That's 400 into the 1.2 million. Benjamin stays in. Needing help now though, to find the 5. But there we go. Help for him was awarded at least partly, as he will get the split if we go to the showdown here between these guys. The pairing of the board means that the kicker 8 for Karim is no longer valid, as long as Benjamin will find the call. It will be split pop between these guys. Yeah, that's call. Chop it up. Michel being ahead all the way, but getting caught by Benjamin to at least to a split. So no change in the chip situation. Still 7 versus 14 million. Healthy lead for Michel, but just as you know, one hand can change it all in the favor of the Dane instead. Bit of a home turf for him as well, with the red and white chairs. Danish colors of Olibet. And Danish colors in his cards as well this time. Red cards in 3. Limps and checked back by Michel. No help. And high is good, and position is good as well. No stab at the board. Checking back. And flush draw for both of them. Michel gets going.
A lot of this type of aggression from Kanatan so far. A check back, a small raise on the turn.
Yeah.
Wow, a quick fold there from the combo draw on the turn from Karim. Maybe considering his opponent to have too many strong hands in that line. I mean, I wouldn't have been a believer myself, but mixing it up.
Yeah. So if we had a lot of banter and talk in the previous heads up, these guys are a bit more quiet.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been a couple of comments from Kanatan after a couple of big pots, saying something along the lines of "you're a warrior" or something when he got shoved on twice in a row, but has since fought back his way into the reckoning. This is a good example of one of those uncomfortable hands that you're kind of forced to play with the big blind anti-structure, but it's just tough to make a strong hand with Jack 4 off. Does continue to go for the raise strategy.
Oh,
wow, he's queen suited. Certainly too much of a hand to shove for this many big blinds, but going upstairs is pretty much mandatory.
Absolutely. Makes it 1.4. Quick fold from Karim. So edging a bit closer now than Kanatan. 8.1 versus 13 millions. Is he ordering 8 beers or what was that?
I don't know. Some kind of gesture towards the heads up of being gone quite well for him so far. As we saw, Karen.
8 million probably, yeah.
Yeah, it could be, yeah.
Not beers.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit more of a level-headed heads up. Ooh, here we go.
Maybe more millions coming his way.
Yeah.
He's a nice starting hand, and of course he gets raising. And see if we can find anything on the other side of the table. 10-7 offsuit. And of course, 10 high board, something similar would be trouble for Karim.
Yeah, any kind of pair here in a heads-up match going to spell a bit of a tricky situation, although he does get away relatively scot-free on the 5-4 deuce rainbow. Kanatan, you have to feel, is going to fire a bet here, and not much we can do with the 10-7. Two overs and a backdoor gut shot and backdoor straight draw. Oh, he's taking it upstairs.
Oops. Using the wrong spot, probably.
Yeah, I don't think this one's going to work. It's quite interesting, though. They are quite deep. Do you really want to just shove in 7 million versus this play? I don't think so. So I think we're going to see him...
Snap call by ace-3.
Well, yeah, exactly. Ace-3, deuces, 5-3, deuce-4. All of these suited combos. Well, he does just ship it in. Not having any of it. And this is now quite annoying for Karim because nothing's really worked for the last sort of 10-15 minutes, and all of a sudden his mountainous chip lead.
It's my turn to hit a good one.
Just goes to show you how quick it can change. We almost counted him out.
Yeah, heads up is so topsy-turvy, it's literally anyone's game.
Yeah.
A little bit of momentum favoring your opponent, and all of a sudden that huge chip lead that he came in with, I think he was over 4-1 chip lead, is now...
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah, it's now like 55-45 percentage-wise, so pretty tricky. And I think in these situations, you'll start to see players with the strong mental game certainly be favored in these scenarios. It's quite annoying and quite unsettling to lose such a big chip lead in a relatively quick amount of time. Just have to get back on the horse, play as best as you can, and try and kind of fight through that slight period of adversity. Karim once again is into a pot where he's going to have a pretty thin chance of winning. With the 7-5, just with the backdoor straight draw really. The 3 doesn't change anything. It's actually the check mark for Kanatan, as Karim cannot improve. He does have the 5 of clubs, but really no board interaction whatsoever. He's going to fire a bet here, and just as I mentioned, the kind of dynamic in heads up where it can be super frustrating format and it's quite difficult to keep a level head when you're just losing every hand. Maybe that's starting to come into effect here with this rather outlandish second barrel. Wow, what is going on?
Oh.
A bit of button clicking going on here. I'm not sure whether he thinks he's bluffing or he's going for some kind of thin raise for protection versus the myriad of draws that are available. Yeah, very frustrating for Karim.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at this now. Tables have turned. Kanatan in the chip lead.
With the chip lead, he's picking his spots with impeccable timing, whether he's got some kind of read on his opponent or he's just playing completely in flow right now. And could this be the start of the wheels falling off for Karim? Because, like I said, it's just so difficult to deal with this constant bad run.
Yeah.
One opponent, you're looking over at him, you feel like he's getting the better of you. Even this like sort of slight smile and the table presence, looking away, just you can tell that it's bothering him in some way.
Yeah. Now the ace for Kanatan. Surely coming with a race. Seven, 6 suited. Nice suited connectors for Karim.
Yeah. Definitely a good candidate for a 3-bet at 50 big blinds effective. Folding out a lot of better hands. Got good equity even versus a calling range. You don't mind getting 4-bet. You're just not able to continue with 7 high. However, we do go to interesting flop here. Surprised to see the check back from Kanatan.
Now then, Karim betting his flush draw.
Yeah. Not going to work. Got the over and the gut shot for Kanatan with that ace of diamonds, although it's going to be tough to represent a diamond river if it does come. 10 on the river, and Karim now left with, once again, 7 high. Just struggling to win pots at the moment, just cannot seem to connect, and when you're getting raised and getting 3-bet, getting shoved on for what feels like 20, 30 hands in a row, it is really frustrating. So you can't blame him going for it here. And if he gets called in this spot, it's just going to be a complete head loss, you would imagine.
Yeah, exactly. Like having spinning out quickly out of this one.
I mean, this would be
I don't think he's far off
an
calling.
insane call.
Or even doing
Oh
something
my
more
God.
creative. Look at this, guys.
What is going on
Wow. This guy's got some moves.
This guy, he's not playing the cards. I just get the sense he's got a really good feel of where his opponent's at. I think that there's something going on here because, you know, the first time you're like, okay, he's just clicking buttons and getting lucky, but there's a deeper psychological element in live poker. Sometimes you just, one opponent's completely dialed in, the other guy's just struggling to hit a flop.
Yeah.
Super tough to play this style when you don't make a hand.
Look at this now. 7 versus 14 has been the count for a long time, but in the other favor, of course. Now it's
Completely
this
one
guy
with traffic.
ahead. Benjamin.
Yeah. Wow, everything is just working for him. He feels like and his opponent feels like he's got his number, you know? It's super super tough to deal with this.
Absolutely.
Just cannot get a bet through at the moment, Karim. Even taking the hat off, just kind of fanning
Try
himself
something.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's
Is
change.
it the hat? Is it bad luck?
What's going on? What is going on with this guy? And he's going to watch this back and think, wow, I just got absolutely wrecked in every single spot. You got to feel for him in some ways. He's played with heart. It just hasn't made a hand and has faced someone that has been relentless. And look at this.
Got the cards as well.
And the timing is just impeccable, right? To pick up a hand like Queens when you've literally won the last 10 significant pots in a row. You know that the guy's going to be a little bit hot under the collar. You can almost see the steam coming out of the ears as Karim as he puts in the 3-bet, and we're going to a flop here at now all of a sudden 2 stack to pot ratio.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to hit something big or not hit at all to stay
Exactly.
alive.
It might be trouble with a 9 or a 10. Oh, there's
my
the
word.
10 and the queen. Absolutely drawing dead almost, Karim, but finding the 10 might be trouble for him.
The momentum is real.
Small
Goes for the tiny bet.
continuation. Will it fool Karim into doing something?
Yeah, just calling in position here with the 10.
Yeah,
Does.
come for the call, so just 5.4 behind now.
Yeah, and all of a sudden 4.2 in there. So if it's a 10 or a 9, it's just going to be GG. And a 5 even is not ideal either. So what's the effective stack? 5.4, 4.2 in there. He goes for the check. Look at this.
Ooh, leaving
Wow.
it open for Michel Karim to seal his own faith, perhaps.
Kanatan has really impressed me so far with his timing, and the way he's played the game flow of the heads-up format has just been brilliant.
900, small bet into the 4.2 million.
Yeah.
pot. And now then, can Benjamin
Yeah, this is
represent?
perfect. This
Yeah.
is such a good example of, he's done this as a bluff for the last 3 times in a row. And now he's got the goods, and now he gets to put in the small raise once again, and your opponent is just going to have such a hard time folding anything reasonable here versus this continued aggression. It's and you just sat here as Karim thinking, what is going on here? Like, I just can't do anything. Like, now I'm right in the middle of my range. Got the 10. I was going for a bit of protection. I wanted to get called by ace high, maybe some straight draws. I'm impressed that he's taking the time. It's, considering the kind of run that he's faced, you do see some people just instantly move all in here.
Oh.
He does go for the shove.
Yeah, he'll be faced by the drawing dead. Unfortunately, it's all over on the turn already. Of course, we're going to see the river as well, but it will be Benjamin Kanatan of Denmark taking down the 555 championship.
Wow.
Here we go. King doesn't change anything, of course. There was no outs for Michel Karim. He will be taking down 40k plus for second place, but the champion is Benjamin Kanatan, Denmark.
Wow, what a performance. So much guts, a lot of bluff raising going on, and the timing just to pick up that top set there versus the middle pair of Karim. He was over it at that point. He'd faced so much aggression, he'd faced so much adversity in that heads up over the course of just a 30-hand sample. It just felt like he was losing every single pot. He finally flops a piece, and he's up against top set. What can you say?
One of those days, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably had some good run. Of course, the first and second day of the tournament, Michel as well, but in the heads up, he just couldn't make it happen. And we came in we've been watching the Royal Showdown all day long, and we came in just for the heads up for this one, and we thought it was going to be an easy way for Michel just to close it down. He had a 4-1, something like that, right?
Yeah, 17 versus 4 million to start the heads up. You're thinking, get this guy's name etched on the trophy. It's a formality from this point, and we just saw a complete blitz of aggression, well-played hands, well-timed bluffs, well-timed moves from Kanatan, and a very well-deserved winner.
Yeah, absolutely. So are we going to see the winner presentation for this one, maybe? I think that's where we're heading. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner on the 555 euro No Limit Hold'em Championship. 710 entries in this event, and I'd like to present the winner of the 555 from Denmark. Give a big hand to Benjamin Kanatan.
Congratulations, sir. Thank you very much. Well done. Thank you. Well deserved.
Yep, there we had it. The officials as well. Christer, Teresa and Karina handing the trophy over to Benjamin Kanatan of Denmark. And yeah, surely his biggest score by far, 66,000 euros in the pocket.
Almost triples his Hendenmob total, actually, and a well-deserved performance. Many people with this kind of resume come in under the bright lights, 2 left and crumble, but he certainly didn't. It was a formidable opponent and performance from Kanatan, so congratulations to him. We're going to be back tomorrow with the high roller, as well as potentially day one of the PLO 4-5 1K tournament that's going to continue on to the 27th. So lots of action coming up with the main event, of course, culminating over the weekend.
Definitely. So stay tuned, all the action. And of course, if you want to see the schedule yourself, allibetevents.com. If you want to come play some events and maybe be on the TV table. So see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Good night.
Good night.